Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Madden Game Man, and I'm back with another reaction video. In today's video, we got Madden 24 gameplay hands-on impressions, and I have seen, a lot of good feedback from the beta so far. So be interesting to see what he has to say in this video. But before I hop into his reaction, I need you guys to like this video right now. Subscribe to your boy if you want more reactions just like this one. And without further ado, jump right into it.
The Madden 24 beta has been out for a couple days. I've been able to play it. I also got to play it a little before the beta was officially released as well. So I'm going to give my hands-on first impressions of the game from a gameplay perspective. I'll have other videos coming really shortly, like franchise impressions as well. But this video, we're just going to stick strictly gameplay because that's what most people care about. I've also still got a few more codes to give away. So if you go follow all my social medias, I have posts already up about the beta giveaway. You can still enter. I still have a few more left, and I'll probably be getting even more next week, so I'll still be hitting people up even past today. Now, I'm just gonna put this out there. We get excited for the beta every year. I'm usually pretty excited. There's been some years where betas have been bad, but some years they're good. But here's the thing. The game is going to change in one way or another. Number one, when the game comes out, millions of people are going to play versus thousands, and all it takes is a few people to find some things wrong with it. Things get widespread, and then the outlook on the game can be completely different. And number two, something we know is
that's happened recent years.
Every month there's going to be an update, so how we feel about it today is probably not how we're going to feel about it in September, October, November.
Unless you're just these people that just
I'm not even going to judge the beta.
Don't even give it a chance.
I'm just going to tell you what's what, the important things, the important changes that I noticed, and depending on the type of player you are, maybe that's a good thing to you, maybe it's a bad thing. So let's start with offense. One of the changes that I do notice is that quarterbacks seem to be able to escape the pocket a little bit easier than they did last year. We know that they nerfed that.
Okay, I like those.
However, it's not going back to nearly what Madden 22 was, because escape artist is one of the things that really made that overpowered.
Madden,
I just noticed that it
boy, hell yeah, it was overpowered.
It's appropriate, so that's always nice. Now let's talk about the offensive line, because that was one of the biggest issues with Madden 23. And I said that in my beta review last year. If you don't believe me, the video's still up. You can go back and look at it, because I know there's some people that's going to say, well, you say the same thing every year about the beta. No, last year I said the O-line was one of the worst parts of the game during the beta, because it was. Now this year, there's definitely some changes. The run blocking is 100% better, and pretty much everybody that's played has agreed with that. You can go on Reddit, you can go on Twitter, you can go on the feedback forums. People are saying run blocking is better, and it is, because it is something they specifically touched on. Now, does this mean it's going to be a run-heavy year? That I really don't know yet, because you really don't know that until the game drops, until everybody's playing it. Once metas start to form, they're always going to form in any game. If you don't think Madden should ever have a meta, you're never going to be satisfied, because the game's always going to develop a meta. Will it be a run meta year? We don't know that yet, but run blocking is certainly better. You're going to notice with double team run blocks that you're going to see more times where the second guy peels off and gets to the next level of the defense, which, should happen most of the time.
Yes, sir. I like those. Okay.
All of that, but you're going to see them get to the next level better. The pulling blockers are finally a little bit better than they used to be. That's one of the things I've always said, is the targeting on pulling blockers, or just blockers in general in the run game.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying they still can't work on it.
They haven't been as good
this year over other areas, and it does show. So I do think running the ball could potentially be a little bit easier this year. I don't necessarily think that's bad. I don't think it's like Madden 20. The difference in Madden 20 with the run being OP is because the pursuit on defense was the worst we'd ever seen. The run game was good because the defense was bad, whereas now the run blocking being better now directly makes the run itself a little bit better. Now, in terms of pass blocking, for me, it does feel kind of the same. I don't notice anything that jumps out with me that says pass blocking is better. The one area to me that I feel is better is I think the pocket forms more consistently. That's always been an issue. The pocket to me feels like it forms very consistently, more so than in years past. But in terms of like picking up edge heat and things like that, you're still going to be able to get those blitzes off the edge, which sometimes is realistic. If I'm blitzing 6 and you're only blocking the 5 offensive linemen, that's a math problem. Somebody's supposed to come in free. The issue last year in a lot of years of Madden is you might blitz 6 versus 5 and consistently get 2 in because the offensive line is clueless. Now, I'm not seeing as much of that, but somebody's going to find a blitz, of course. They always do. I don't really feel like pass blocking stands out as anything better other than the pocket does seem a little better, but run blocking for sure is better. Another one of the bigger changes, which might sound like a small thing, but if you play this game a lot, you know it's not, is the wide receiver catching. And this may go in hand with the skill-based passing 2.0. I think it's kind of the other side of it. It's not the actual passing itself, but rather how the wide receivers react. They catch the ball in stride so much better. If you know in past games, you got 2-3 yards on a DB, like with a Tyreek Hill, and you try to throw him out in front so he can run and catch it and go for a touchdown. And at the very end, it's like they slow down, they chop their feet. And sometimes if a ball's underthrown, obviously you would have to slow down, but they would do it in situations where it didn't seem like it made sense because the ball would never just perfectly get out in front where they could just catch it perfectly in stride and not have to slow down and then get tackled after they catch it. You don't really see that too much anymore. If you got a guy beat with a fast receiver and you put it out and the pass is accurate, they catch it in stride so perfectly, and it visually looks good. It looks like what football is supposed to look like in that instance, rather this, oh, they're kind of warping and slowing down. You don't see that, but this also happens even when passes are inaccurate. I'm definitely seeing some inaccurate passes, but I think some of these are intentional where the ball's behind the receiver, or, you know, even if they're jumping up for it, it's slightly on the back of them. And what they'll do is they'll still catch it in stride, but they'll do the thing where they kind of jump and have to turn their body like this to catch it behind them, but it's all one smooth motion. It's not like a warp or
I like those. Okay.
Even when the ball is thrown bad, you don't want it to be thrown bad, but when they jump back and make that in stride, like behind them catch, actually looks really clean. Now, I will say wide receivers
sounds like
miss
it.
The ball sometimes when they absolutely should be catching it. That I'm assuming is a bug. Hopefully not something that sticks in the main game, because we have seen this in years past where wide receivers just randomly would kind of be a little clueless and not animate even when they could get their hands on the ball. Definitely seeing that happen quite a bit and don't like that at all. So hopefully that's something they do get fixed. But we have seen in years past where it was a thing that consistently happened all year.
All right.
And lastly, for offense, the playbooks. They did a lot with playbooks this year. Probably the biggest playbook revamp we've seen since Madden 20 when they put the RPOs and all the jet sweeps and all the new formations. Playbooks have been a little lackluster over the past few years. They've actually taken a lot of stuff away and didn't replace it, but now they have a ton of cool formations, a lot of pistol stuff, some new shotgun formations, some under center stuff, but it's like a lot of team-specific things. Like in the Eagles playbook, you're seeing a ton of pistol stuff and just things that they use to take advantage of Jalen Hurts. The Colts playbook has some stuff that, you know, they're going to likely be using with a guy like Anthony Richardson. The Saints playbook has some more Taysom Hill inspired stuff, which is cool. It also seems like they made a big attempt to attack the meta, because last year the offensive meta was a lot of gun tight. They've removed gun tight from almost every playbook and tight offset tight end, but they still do have tight shotgun formations, but it's like tight Y off or tight flex. And, you know, the plays are a little bit different, and it doesn't seem like some of the corner routes in them as good as they were last year. It seems like they kind of nerfed that a little bit. They always do that. Whatever the meta, they're going to try to nerf it. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen this year. Is it going to be run heavy, or are people going to go back to more of the gun bunch stuff versus gun tight? One thing is true in Madden, compression sets and trip sets are always going to be the thing that most people gravitate towards. I don't really see that changing, but in terms of how they use it, or, you know, if they're going back to bunch or if more people go to trips, don't really know what's going to happen, but you can expect those are the formations that typically are going to be popular. Now on defense, I don't have as much to talk about. Tackling is one of the things you will notice though the most, because they're building on the hit everything 2.0, but it's one of the areas that's both good and bad to me. When the good tackles happen, it looks really good. They got new scoop tackles. They got tackles where you drive people back, more diving at the tackle,
to drive people back, that's going to be
trying to tackle Derrick Henry. You'll see more instances of them diving at the feet.
That's going to be crazy to see,
especially if you're a smaller guy. It's just not going to happen. Or if a DT breaks through the line,
Derrick Henry running over you,
just kind of wrap them up and just drive them back into the ground. When they happen and they look good, they look really good. But Madden still is Madden, and it has a lot of those instances where the tackles don't look like they make sense, and they do still have those warping animations and just times where things get a little jumbled up. Like some of the gang tackles and the three-man tackles, again, when they happen and they look clean, it looks really good. But there's other times where people just kind of get caught up, they get sloppy, they trip, or they fall backwards. And like, it's an area of the game that overall over the past few years has gotten better, but it's one of those things that it's gotten better because it was just so bad, you know, in Madden 20 and Madden 21. It was so bad that yes, it's definitely, I would say, much improved now than it was 2 years ago, but it still is one of those things that there's still a lot of bad and sloppy moments with them, and I don't really know when we're going to get away from that completely. Also, I think block sheds don't seem to be
I don't really think you can though.
If the O-line
Like,
is a little bit better, or
because it's like a game thing.
It's worse, because when I said the
Maybe
O-line,
I'm
the pocket is
wrong.
better, that is true, but I said overall, like versus blitzes, the O-line still seems pretty much the same. But it's also apparent to me that the block sheds from just basic 4-man rush, it's nowhere near as good as it was in the beta last year. They were really good in the beta last year. A lot of people actually like that. Some people don't. Some people don't like the quick pass rush and only having 2 to 3 seconds to pass sometimes. Other people say, well, that's more realistic. I fall in the end that it's more realistic, but right now, while this is something they could easily tune and speed this up, maybe they will. I assume they probably will tweak it a little bit. Right now, I feel like you have a lot of time to pass if you're not blitzing somebody, because we're not seeing block sheds unless you have like one of the superstar players that have an edge threat ability. Obviously, those guys get loose a little more often. There's also some new animations for separating the receiver from the ball, not mid-airs, but more so just like on the ground. If you can time up the hit stick, you can draw the ball loose. A lot of people think that
okay,
the
I like,
too much. It just depends on the type of player you are, because if you play in the competitive scene, you know that a lot of times receivers win too much depending on how you use them, unless
I have seen a lot of videos when the receivers just
abilities. But right now, you definitely can hit.
It's not even the
ball. If you're more of a
matchup, to be real with you.
I want to be able to win as the defender. You definitely can win as the defender knocking the ball loose if you time it up right. Also, I feel like DBs are even better than they were before at like playing the ball. Some people hate this. Some people want the receivers.
Okay, I like that. I like to hear that. DBs playing better at getting the football.
So much of like
playing the football, excuse me.
People for picks, which sometimes can be unrealistic.
Oh, I did see the new pick. Was it the new one-hand catch animation? I saw that with Odell.
Even if you're smaller, you can time
on Instagram
up there and get your hand there and try to fight for it, or they'll knock the ball out a little more often. I'm seeing that. I mean, they did it last year, but I'm seeing it a little more often. Even if they don't have abilities, like they get good animations where they actually fight to try to get the ball loose, and I think that's a good thing. Some people don't like that. I understand it, but I just like that they seem a little bit more independent. It's not a warping 2-man. It's more so like they're just making attempts until the whistle to make sure you don't complete the catch, and I think that looks good. I forgot to record this part when I was doing the face cam, but I realized when I was editing the video that I didn't talk about coverage on defense. And to be honest, the reason I didn't is because I don't notice too much of a difference with coverage. This video was more about me talking about the things that I felt were different in some type of way, but I know that coverages are always a big thing people want to know about when it comes to early gameplay. To me, if you played Madden 23, man coverage and zone coverage seem about the same. To me, it seems like fair coverage. It's not the best in the world, but it's not trash either. It's not as good as zone coverage was in the beta last year. It's definitely nowhere near that. Man coverage still seems about the same that it did in 23, and zone does as well. Zone was not too great after multiple updates in 23, and it kind of feels the same way. Like, it's viable, you can use it, you may want to make some other adjustments when you're in it. You can get away with playing zone, but there's definitely still instances where they're not being as aggressive or attacking as well as I'd like them to in some situations. All in all, I don't think coverages are in a place where I have a problem with them. They could be better, but they also could be a lot worse. Onside kicks have also changed. You can now kick high, kick low, kick normal. You can bounce the ball. You can do more of like the real life onside kicks where you can kick it a certain way and have it bounce really nice up in the air. You can
I ain't hear nothing about that. Okay.
It's a little bit more unpredictable.
They improved the onside kick.
Recover more onside kicks than in past, which they were almost impossible to recover because
heck
they're
yeah,
a little bit more realistic. So definitely a little small.
I've never recovered an onside kick before in Madden ever.
And let me just touch on this as well to kind of round this.
It's rare to see.
Mini games I think are fun gameplay wise. I think.
Oh, that's right. Mini games are back.
Level of difficulty. They're not like.
A lot of people had a split
gold ranking, but
on if they liked it or not.
The hardest thing in the world either. I think some of them are definitely harder than others, but so far I've really had a lot of fun with them. I think they're addicting. I think they're just as good, if not better, than they were back in the day. The ones that they brought back from back in the day, they added a little different twists to most of them. They made them a little bit different. So it's not so much that they just brought it back, but they updated them as well. They also added some new ones, and I think
like that.
Whether you're a franchise or you want to just playing with your buddies, they're fun, and I think they're pretty well done. I don't have any complaints about the mini games. Now, if you want to know about some other small details in the game that we noticed,
I've heard a lot of good things about the beta this year. Now, I don't know how it's gonna be be when everybody can play it. I have high hopes for Madden 24. He did say one big thing that I really liked is they improved the onside kick and allow for more things to do with the onside kick. You can recover a lot better, and that's, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's one thing when you like coming back with you 2 touchdowns down and you come back and now you got onside kick it. It's almost a 99% chance they gonna get that. When is the last time you actually recovered the onside kick? But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this reaction. Love every single one of you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.